What is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and tonight's show is going to be packed. We're going to talk about, of course, Kim, about our recent deployments, what our president just said, essentially telling everyone to skedaddle out of Ukraine. We'll talk about that and much, much more right after this. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. What is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We have a lot to cover in a short amount of time, so if you're new here, remember, we take the time before every single live show to make sure we have a bibliography of all of our sources. If we show you a tweet, a video, a picture, a document, an archived document, of course, that will all be over on our website. Now, when you go over to Marfoogle News, not only can you sign up for our alerts and, of course, our email service and our notifications, so if you're not getting notifications from the platforms, you can get it from us. Not only you can do that, you can also follow along with a second device. Now, when you go over to our website, you'll see it is very easy to navigate. It is all done by thumbnail. You'll just look for tonight's thumbnail, what's about to happen, 100 seconds to midnight. Once you click on that, it will bring you to, of course, our info and show notes. Now, of course, every single article is here that we're going to cover, and then, of course, more. Once you hit a yellow bar, you're going to hit the web-only content. That is the stuff that is too hot for TV or too far to one direction for us to cover neutral as possible. Now, some pretty shocking stuff down there, including, of course, if you haven't heard about what Bob Saget actually perished from. Apparently, he hit his head and other things, but there are some pretty extreme stuff down there, so make sure to go check it out. It's an entire show in itself. And then on the right, if you do want to support us, we are independent. We do not have a multi-channel network. We don't have a multi-billion-dollar company behind us. We have you. And in fact, our views actually beat out a lot of the news agencies. So again, thank you everybody for supporting, sharing, and making sure to bring in people. If you know somebody who would like this show, remember to remind them. And then again, you can support over on the right side of that page. Any of our page, the show notes, you'll see those boxes on the right. Those are all affiliate links. Essentially, if you purchase an EMP Shield, it will give us a commission and you a discount. If you purchase NordVPN through us, it will give us a commission and it will give you a discount. Those are just examples. Again, those are ways that you can help the show financially. But mainly, we just want you to share us out and tell a friend. That would be amazing. Let's bring in my co-host / internet brother. He is going to be coming in. Dex James, how are you doing tonight? What is happening?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Google fam. I'm doing just fine.
So we have a ton. Let's get right into the news. U.S. denial of SpaceX satellites. Close encounters endangering China's crewed space stations. Move of shirking responsibility. Now, it says China refuted Thursday U.S. denial of its Starlink satellites having endangered China's crewed space station by claiming their activities did not meet the threshold of established emergency collision criteria. saying U.S. claim is an act of shirking the responsibility. Zhao Lijian, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, made the remarks at a routine press conference on Thursday. The U.S. reportedly refuted China's complaint to the U.S. that SpaceX's Starlink satellites endangered its crewed space station in the official note verbale. I don't know why I can't read tonight, to the United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs. Beijing issued their note verbale. Dex, am I saying that right? Verbale? Is this like fragile?
That's not a word I would normally use.
Is it French?
So.
Is it French for
well, this is coming from global time, and this is China, so it's probably lost in translation.
Verbale. It's like fragile. It's not verbal. It's anyways. According to the note, during China's normal and legitimate space missions in 2021, Starlink satellites launched by SpaceX had 2 close encounters with the China's space station separately on July 1st and October 21st. Dex, you know what I thought of, though, when I first saw this is we just had 40 out of 49 of the recent Starlink satellites go down, and they said it was because of solar activity. They said it was because of a solar storm, and it made it harder for these satellites to get into orbit, and they came back pummeling to Earth. This is just weeks after both Russia and China both tested a satellite-killing satellite that essentially one has a claw and then the other is an impactor. In fact, they even tested a missile that would go up and hit satellites. And I just thought it's kind of funny. A lot of people are asking questions now about, of course, these 40 satellites that fell. Was it the solar activity that knocked them down, or possibly something else? Was this a sign? Was this like, hey, you came close to our ships or something, so we're going to knock your stuff down? Dex, did you ever kind of make that?
Yeah, that absolutely crossed my mind when they were putting out this kind of information, saying that they were mad about what we have done in the past with Starlink, and then we just had this recent mishap with our own Starlink. So I think that that certainly isn't without question. I think there's no evidence of that, but yes. And by the way, verbal is a diplomatic note that is more formal than an aid or memorandum.
Okay,
or aid
so
memoir.
I was saying it right. I just didn't seem right. I'd never seen that word, so I apologize. But
yeah, I don't know how to say it. I'm just telling you that's what it means.
So, but it's almost like the U.S., the White House left a message like, hey, you knocked down 40 of our satellites. And I know that this is not, they accepted what happened, but hey, you knocked down 40 of our satellites. And then they wrote this in response to it. This almost seems like it's in response to a phone message by the White House or a bumbling phone message like, oh, you knocked down space. Space it, I think. Cheez-Its? I can't remember. And then, of course, contractor-owned Mirage F-1 aggressor jet crashed near Luke Air Force Base. The accident occurred near Luke Air Force Base, which is primarily a training base for future F-35A and F-16 fighter pilots. Details are still coming in, but an aircraft flying from Luke Air Force Base in Arizona, which is home to squadrons flying F-35A Joint Strike Fighters and F-16C and D Vipers, has crashed. First responders at the crash site now, which is reportedly inside of a retirement community. And the Federal Aviation Administration has placed a temporary restriction on flight activity within 5 miles of the apparent point of impact. Now, anytime I see something like this, of course, they're probably going to come out with a picture of a retirement community with a bunch of people with walkers and saying, like, you get your jet off my lawn or something. But I always wonder, and this is just a general wonder, like, are some of these some sort of cover-up? Like when we have something happen, they tell the public one thing and they're actually doing another. Throughout history, we've had so many events happen which, declassified 30, 40, 50 years later, and it's something completely different, that they actually, restricted 5 miles of place because it was something that they didn't want the public to know about. I'm not suggesting that that's what this is, but again, I always question every time they restrict any kind of area. Now, it sounds like they just put a temporary restriction on flight activity, but again, that also could be something like, hey, we don't want anything flying over this. Possibly because they don't want somebody taking pictures of it. I don't know. Dex, What do you
Well,
think?
you know, we've had the recent mishaps with F-35s, and they say that this base is where they were doing a lot of training with F-35s. Now, certainly, you know, they could have contractors flying these Mirages as, you know, in dogfighting, you know, for combat training, right, as an enemy craft or whatever. But it does seem like it's worth questioning, right? If, you know, they're sealing off the area, nobody can, you know, ask any questions or see anything, and they just tell us, oh, don't worry, it's the contractor plane, and, you know, it's not one of our main planes, it's a Mirage F1. You know, nothing to see here always makes me think there might be something to see there.
Yeah, and also it's like when something like this happens, the F-35, the other F-35, I believe it's an F-35C. It was an F-35 that crashed off of the South China Sea, right? That was an F-35C. I know it's a different plane.
That was, and the other one was off of the U.S. or the U.K.'s ship, the HMS ship.
That's right.
There's two that they've rescued out of the ocean. So and I think there's been a couple other incidents with them on the ground.
Wow. So, well, okay. So even more. What if something is hacking these? These, again, have a lot of new technology. What if, and remember, the same planes had their blueprints stolen quite a few years ago. So I'm just wondering if another country or a country state member has some sort of ability to hack these or get a device close enough to, say, you know, hit their GPS or something and turn it off, or I don't know. I'm just asking the question because we've seen an unusual amount of very specifically F-35 crashes, whether they be A, B, C, Mirage, F1, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I don't know, SpaghettiOs, whatever. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments down below. Which, by the way, thank you for close to 3,000 now. Thank you, everybody that has just popped in. Thank you, Gordy Merritt, QH777, for subscribing. It looks like 7 minutes ago, RAD135 just subscribed. Bones Jr. 83, thank you for subscribing. And Anu Anunnaki, thank you for subscribing as well. 16 minutes ago. 17 minutes ago, Baseball Guy 89. And it looks like Melissa Ginter at the same time subscribed. Thank you guys, and welcome to the Foogle fam. Again, we always try to welcome as many people as we can. AFT dispatch for USA Truckers Coachella Indio starts on March 1st or so, but there will be world-renowned DRs or doctors in Indio, California, March 4th and 5th. Be there or be square. California to D.C. Seth Covington, thank you for the comment. And I'm sure that there are some folks in the audience that probably will be there. Unfortunately, I have 4 kids, so I miss a lot of really cool stuff. And then, let's see here. NK boasts of shaking the world by testing missiles that can strike the U.S. Now, most people laugh off one. Here's the thing. It's getting kind of absurd. I think that we used to laugh off Russia, and we used to laugh off, you know, China's abilities, and said that they were, you know, back world stuff or their knockoffs. People to this day always say, "Oh, well, it's built in China, so it's not going to last." That kind of stuff. That's no longer true, and I think people really need to start accepting that. I think that if people truly realized how much since 1979, when they started capitalism and they started, you know, doing a lot of the manual labor, the cheap labor for the world, how much money got put into China and how they slowly built up their factories to make actual good things as well. In fact, almost anything and everything around you, part of it is most likely made in China. And you're talking about high-end stuff. Very, very high-end furniture, they get their parts and their stuff. And I mean, high-end electronics get their parts and electronics and things from China. It may say, like, you know, assembled in the USA, but it will still be from China. Again, that's why it's like people don't understand that China's military is extremely modern. In fact, so much so that our Pentagon is saying that they are ahead of us in AI. In artificial intelligence. That's not a good thing. And then, of course, Russia. People think that they're just backwoods and driving tanks in the streets and running over their cousin's house with a tank, and they're like, we're Russian. No, that's not it either. In fact, they have modernized their military. When we were depleting our services during Obama's rankings, they were actually putting all of their money into their military. Not to mention China and Russia and Putin have been sharing secrets. They've been sharing trade secrets, and they've been doing a whole lot together. Now, when this comes to NK, people just kind of think, Rocket Man, right? But NK has come up, and it should show you something, and it should tell you something, that they just made an ICBM base 15 miles away from China's border. And the reason they experts say that they're doing this is so that if we hit it, or if we try to take it out, that we might accidentally hit China, and that would be bad. So if we hit it with any kind of explosives within that 15-mile radius, if we just step over just an inch, then we've done an act of war with China. So that's one of the things that they're saying about it. But other things, I'm like, maybe that's because China can actually go over there and help them. I think that China and Kim Jong-un, they've met several times. They've taken trains to each other. They've done all sorts of things over the last couple of years. And I think whether it's Kim that is ruling or his sister, I think they are using that country. They are manufacturing things that the UN wouldn't accept. I think that they are using... Imagine where, we send our stuff to be made in China. And of course, there was all these scandals about, kids making shoes and stuff like that in horrible conditions. Where does China send their cheap labor? I bet you it's NK, where it's no holds bars, no rules apply. I mean, NK is completely sealed off. So if they want people to build something that's absolutely horrid, they would send it to NK. And I bet you Russia is doing the same. In fact, we have had pieces and articles and actual information saying that NK was doing anything for money, including sending its citizens out to steal things or to smuggle things back in, and then, of course, sell it back out. Lots of weird stuff. They have a whole chain of how they get their money, but a long time it was black market stuff. So when they say this, I'm always going to have... I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because right now they are very close with China and Russia. They are very close to several countries that are not close to us. It says NK boasted on Tuesday that it is one of only a handful of countries in the world to field nuclear weapons and advanced missiles, and the only one standing up to the United States by shaking the world with missile tests. It says international tension has been rising over a recent series of NK ballistic missile tests, actions long banned by the United Nations Security Council. January was a record month of such tests, with at least 7 launches, including a new type of hypersonic missile, able to maneuver at high speed. So, not trying to scare anybody, but if NK has any kind of hypersonic technology on with a nuke, this is not a good thing. And this might be the setup for them, for it to look like it's coming from them, and then it actually may be coming from China. Dex?
Well, what kind of age are we living in where NK has beaten us to hypersonic, right? Doesn't that just seem like a crazy world? I mean, I thought it was crazy when Russia did it, and then China did it, and now even NK has done it.
No, I that's because... How are people not questioning if we're actually working for them? If you see my meaning here, like, why is this happening? Why is the United States falling behind? And it freaked me out, that call last night. Now, I don't know if it's absolutely true. That call from Pioneering, Lone Star Pioneering, said that he talked to his nephew who is about to deploy, and said that their commanding officer said that they thought that Russia and China are going to rule the world, and it just put a kind of a chill down the back of my down the back of my spine, because I thought about it. I'm like, what if some of the rumors are true about everything that's happened over the last few years, and if somebody installed, just like a third world country, someone that would help in the aid of that? It's so crazy how authoritarian and draconian things are becoming We are in supposedly a free speech, the most free country in the world, yet we can't say anything online. We get hit with everything. You cannot make a living if you tell your opinion, and it differs from what is accepted, and the accepted opinion is then backed up by corrupt companies that are fact-checking and saying that things are true when they're not, or they're taking an opinion and saying if it's true or false, when an opinion is an opinion. It's a thought. The thought police. And it's happening so fast and so insane. Dex?
Yeah, I think the other thing when you mentioned that caller that came to my mind is, while the commanding officer may not actually know anything and it's more of his opinion, but we have to look at what the highest levels of our military have been saying over and over again for the last year. They have been, pretty much pounding their fists saying, pay attention to what's going on with China. Like, we're falling behind. They're doing more of this. We need to spend more. We need to have more investment in our technology, or we're going to be behind, and they're beating us. And every time we heard them talk, it was like they said, oh, they're beating us. So, it isn't without the realm of possibility to think that even through the rank and file, there is going to be some sort of belief that, we may be behind. And, the fact that, our upper leadership of the military has been saying it repeatedly for at least the last year, if not longer.
Yeah, it's really bad. I was just going to pull up the chief software officer for the Pentagon. Let's see here. Show you this. This is one of the examples I've been using. Lee Brown, I think that's what it is. Yeah, Pentagon's first software chief quit because China has already won global tech war. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we've been screaming at the top of our lungs, but nobody was listening. Our audience are some of the smartest people in the world, but again, smart does not equal, there's a lot of people that are not even looking at common sense. People are in their phones, they're in their devices, they are being controlled. This is... have you in your entire life, especially since we have a lot of folks that are, we're not young birds here. Have you ever seen such a time in history where everyone is just absolutely controlled by whatever the narratives are? I just can't believe it. People, and they're opinionated and aggressive about it. Like, not only are they convinced of something not true, but they're so convinced that they're pissed off and they're going to make you listen to them. I don't understand it. If they took any time and just opened their eyes and look at the facts, and I'm not talking about an opinion that's fact-checked, I'm saying the facts, and look at the big picture instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to believe what that headline says. When we pull up mainstream articles and mainstream... we analyze it. We don't just take mainstream and give it to you. We analyze it because sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it's biased. Sometimes it is absolutely just out of its gourd insane. We all have to start doing this. You guys have to do your part too. Everybody in the Foogle fam already knows, like, we're heading down a huge, horrible hole, and there is hope. We have to be the hope. We have to spread this message. We have to get more people in on this. And it happens by getting people just into the mindset, get them information, send them videos of other folks, send them the videos that will prove it. But make sure when you send a video to somebody, make sure that it is accurate. Because if you send them something and it's a rumor or it's some crazy headline that says, everybody's going to die on the 15th or something. When you send that, you burn them on any kind of content from anybody, right? Make sure that you are giving out accurate information because it's going to make a difference in the whole thing. Stephen McMahon, thank you, says, all we can do, and I don't want to sound pious, is realize that we all have each other, and God, we can't believe a word our leaders say. Stephen McMahon, I agree with that. And then says, God bless all in this house. Bobby and Rhonda Fraser, thank you so much for subscribing. Tammy Driver, 8 minutes ago, just subscribed. And Arnie Shoemake. Global Witness, hey, man, thank you. What is going on? If you guys haven't checked out Global Witness, make sure to go over there and check it out. I believe he hit 100,000, did he not? I think he already hit it. I don't know. Global Witness is again, a really big, awesome channel. Make sure to go check him out. Same guy off camera as in on. All right. And then, let's see here. U.S. confirms highly pathogenic bird at Indiana turkey farm. So it says that U.S. has confirmed a highly pathogenic bird at Indiana turkey farm. The U.S. Department of Agriculture on Wednesday reported an outbreak of a highly pathogenic avian in an Indiana turkey flock, the nation's first case in commercial poultry operations since 2020. Cases of the disease, known as can hurt the U.S. farm sector because poultry are killed and trading partners can limit imports from infected areas. China said on Monday it banned imports of poultry from Spain and Moldova due to outbreaks. So, Dex, I'm going to go over to you. So, one thing that I think of is how can they explain why nothing is on the shelves other than something like... So we always hear about these different things happening. By the way, this is one of the things I don't really worry about as much. But at the same time, they're saying that this is going to affect our poultry and that we may not be able to get as much chicken because some of these farms may be cold. You know, all of their chickens may be cold or all of their turkeys will be cold. What do you think about that, Dex? Or do you think it's because... they're trying to come up with reasons why we're not sending out stuff or exporting or...
Well, I think we have many reasons to sort of label or go down the general label of potential food shortages. And we can see it. I mean, I've seen it in the grocery store. It's not the whole store, but it's sections at a time. It's like you can't find, sour cream, or you can't find cream cheese, or you can't find, this type of product, or potatoes. Those last thing I noticed, frozen potatoes were completely wiped out. So it seems like we're having all of these different types of effects that are happening, whether it's, from the growers or from the supply chain, which has been hit heavily and continues to have problems. Or in this case, now it's, we may see if this thing actually turns into a larger issue, then it could actually infect lots of flocks, whether it be, go over to chickens or other birds. Besides the turkey, and then that will in effect have an effect on food prices and availability for those products. And we've seen it in other countries where it's happened, so it certainly could. It's a big deal. It's happened here before. We have to pay attention to it and react to it and not let it spread. But it's not necessarily something we really want to deal with right now, given all the other constraints that are in our food supply chain, right? And especially with some of the stuff they're talking about coming up in March with, what happened in Canada may be happening here. And that's going to be yet another, reason to, see that things may slow down or not show up on shelves. So,
and think about the percentage. 50,000 of these guys are doing this protest up there, and they're not moving any of the product up there. I'm sure that's affecting them. We believe to see this down in the U.S. as well. But again, who knows? They might not have anything to protest over because apparently some of the states are just dropping these things left and right. Maybe because they know that's coming. I don't know. But either way, we already have a supply chain block, just this huge, huge stomp that hasn't even really hit us yet. We know for a fact that Target, Walmart, Costco, and all these companies chartered their own boats. They completely went around the Chinese-run ports and things that, and again, I'm not talking about China, I'm talking about here in the U.S. China was running a big chunk of these because they owned all of the cargo ships and they owned all these companies, and they were chartering things over on containers from China here. We know for a fact that those containers are still sitting out there. It's been 6 months, and they're still sitting out there. Things have moved down to a slow. And then once they announced the O variant, did you guys realize that they just cut everything off again? They were already restricted, but then they said, boom, zero tolerance policy on this thing. And they went whoosh, and cut it off even further. And we haven't even seen the effects of that yet. They said the mother of all supply chain stops are coming. Now, if you add that in with what is possibly to come as far as these things go, it's going to get crazy. Now, I just talked to my friend Nick, and he said when he asked, I've mentioned him several times before, he arbitrages things. I think that's what you call it. He arbitrages things. He buys things that say, they'll only get 4, or he'll get toys at Target, and it will be Target-only toys or something, or only at Target. And then he will sell that online to international buyers. I guess, he doesn't like being called a scalper, but that's kind of what he dips into, right? He said that he asked the Target employee, and they had no ETA for a future shipment of a whole wide variety of things. So it's like, when you start seeing that there's no ETAs, when I went to IKEA is, of course, everybody thinks, oh, Sweden, right? Well, it's not made in Sweden. It's made in China. They should call it iChina, because all of IKEA stuff, all of the parts and the stuff that is for it is made in China. And they said, this was back in September of 2021. And I said, hey, when are you getting this shelf? It was the simplest shelf. It's a $49 like Bjorn thing or whatever it was called. And they said, oh, well, we're not actually getting a lot of stuff. Now, this was what I told you guys about when I went in, and it said temporarily unavailable. Not just on one thing, not on 2 things, not on 10 things, not on 20 things. You go through the entire store, there was nothing. Every display was the last one they had, and they were starting to sell the displays. At the very end, all of the warehouse was gone. And I said, well, when is, and in fact, it was October. That's what it was. And he said, oh, well, the next shipment is scheduled in September. And I go, well, it's October. September's last month. So are you saying that it already came? And he goes, no, it is. It's September of 2022. I'm like, why would the shipment be a year out? That's when I knew something was up. And I told my friends Nick, I told my friend Reed, I told my friends about this, and I think they somewhat believe me. But then Target and Walmart and all these places all had their own shipments, and it seemed like business as usual. But now it's finally catching up. So I hope some of you went out, and the things that you really need, the things that you need a lot, the things that you use all the time, if you can, just try to spend an extra $5 or $10 getting an extra one that you're not going to touch and put away. And trust me, I think that you will thank me, just like you did when CV first hit. So that's what I think. And again, that's my opinion. So don't use your own judgment, and again, do things responsibly. But man, cannot say enough about that. Dex, do you disagree or?
No. I think now is actually yesterday was the best time to be prepared for any type of shortage. So now is the time, and if you can't go buy it now, go buy it tomorrow. You need to be stocking up. Stocking up on the things you need. Long-term food, short-term stuff, toilet paper, whatever it is you might need that you're going to use. It's not a bad thing to have extra on supply. On hand. We talk about the trucks. I was talking to a trucker the other day, and he made the observation to me that when these things happen, like in Canada, and if it happened here, he says, it's really independence, because you talked about say Target and Walmart and those guys, getting their own ships, bringing their stuff. Well, it's really the independent owner operators that are probably participating in this, because those that work for a big line, that line's not going to let them do it. They're not going to let just go, get on a convoy and truck across America, right? That's not going to happen. They're going to lose their job if they do, because most of those companies don't. And then when you think about the big boxes, they have their own trucks. They have their own trucking company. Don't kid yourself. There's other trucks that come through, but you're driving down the interstate, you see trucks with Walmart's name on the side of them and Target's name on the side of them. So they're still going to be moving.
Yeah. And, as far as the companies, a lot of these guys rent or lease their own trucks. But if it's a Best Buy truck or a Target truck, they're not going to let them use the truck. They'll have the police say, hey, get the hell out. You're fired. This young gentleman will be taking your place.
And a stat on that, Adam, is there's 350,000 owner-operators in the trucking industry, which only makes up about 9%. So that's a lot more trucks out there that are not owner-operated. But 350,000 is still a lot.
Well, yeah, especially thinking that this gigantic seen from space line of truckers in Canada is 50,000. Think about it, if all 350 of those 1,000 went and did this. And then before we move on, I do want to remind you, if you have not already, I would highly recommend going over and checking out Inergy. Inergy is powering this entire show. Everything you see here, all the lights, we have 2 power bars, all of the camera stuff, all of my computer stuff, all of my musical stuff is running on an Inergy solar generator. Again, even my router, that way if we ever do lose power, we lost about 4 or 5 shows this last year in 2021 because of power outages here. For whatever reason, I live in a wind tunnel. So again, I lose power really easily. But again, I'm doing this because I think people, again, should be looking at the solar generators. One, you can actually outfit these. This is modular, so you can outfit it as far as you can add 1 battery, 2 battery, 3 battery. You can make a wall of batteries. Again, people talk about a Tesla wall. This is, again, Inergy, one of the most sought-after generators of last year and this year. This, I believe, is an incredible, incredible product. Again, and it's modular. With a Tesla wall, you end up buying this huge, $10,000 object, and you basically have to go all or nothing. This, you can actually outfit and make it as powerful or as long as you want as far as your battery time, or as short if you want to just start out with the base unit. I have a base Flex 1500 with 1 battery, but again, I'm about to get panels, more panels. You can start out with 1 panel, you can upgrade, and then you can even get modular inputs so you can add in more panels and quicken the charging time. So the coolest part, somebody said that I should do a pros and cons of it. I'll just do real quick. Solar generators are silent. They don't make any noise. Your neighbors or desperate people, when SHTF happens, are not going to be hearing your generator in your backyard. They're not going to hear anything. I think my laptop PC is louder than the solar generator. I can't even run my air purifier on the lowest setting, but I can run the Inergy right next to me. So again, it's very quiet. And then also, when you have this, you can add all sorts of things. They have accessories that you can get for it as far as low voltage, low amp, stove. You can get lights. You can get all sorts of gadgets that are made for this, or you can just plug in anything. You can plug your big screen in TV and do tailgating. You can go camping. You can light and power your whole campsite. You could power your cabin. Again, this is an amazing product, and go to marfooglenews.com/Inergy to check it out. I also think, though, that it is a smart thing to do. You can also get one. They have teamed up with EMP Shield. That is the only reason, really, we were able to even get a hold of them, is because they were partnered with EMP Shield. We looked at this, and we said, this is just amazing. So, again, Inergy is spelled with an I. It's marfooglenews.com/INERGY. Every purchase helps the show financially, so we appreciate that. When you go buy something from them, they give us a commission, and that helps us support ourselves and our channel. So if you like independent broadcasting like ourselves, feel free to do it. Again, this is something that most of you are probably already looking into if you're watching this kind of stuff, so it might be a smart idea. All right, and then make sure to use the code Marfoogle. That way we'll get credit. By the way, it says CPAP machine, 18 hours. One of my friends actually has a CPAP, and if he loses power, he thought about it recently, he could die. When you are a bodybuilder, your neck collapses when you sleep. Or anybody that uses CPAP, really, what happens in their sleep when they don't have the CPAP is, with sleep apnea, is your neck collapses on you. So again, that's a really incredible thing, and I think everybody should be thinking about that kind of stuff for the future. All right, and then Dex. The UH-60 Blackhawk helicopter just flew without anyone on board for the first time. This is, again, another big step in, I guess, drones. I mean, what would you call this? A life-size...
Yeah, this is like a modification, right?
This is a Blackhawk drone, essentially.
Right.
I,
It's a great use, I would say, of taking our existing technology and trying to, I guess, eliminate the need to put people on it if it can do certain tasks, and or maybe in a scenario if a pilot gets hurt or can't do his job, it could take over and continue the flight.
What if a bullet goes right through that front window, takes the guy out, he's sitting there and not able to fly, there's no other pilots on there? Well, it might just land itself, or somebody will control it from the ground and land it. This is pretty incredible, but this is what I said. The next conflict is going to be bonkers, because we're going to have Black Hawk helicopters fighting Black Hawk helicopters, or whatever their version is, and there's going to be no people on it. Maybe that's why they're giving these minimalistic death counts, because it's going to be robot on robot action. We're going to be watching robot wars in real life. So I just hope we have better robots. Oh, wait. They already told us we don't. Ouch.
How about that picture, though? Like, how often do you see DARPA's name right on the front of a
Black Hawk? Yeah. DARPA right there. And look at their actual logo is the planet with DARPA across it. It's kind of spooky. Spooky thinking about it, and then there's nobody sitting in it. Why? They could reduce so much space, though, and I know they have helicopter drones, but they could even reduce a super. I wonder if they can just put this onto any existing Black Hawk, though. I believe that's what they're doing with this. That would make sense, but they could save a lot of space if they didn't, and weight if they didn't put the interior for humans in there. I'm sure that they knew and thought about that. And then the White House recognizes hypersonic directed energy as critical technology. Remember when directed energy would get you knocked off the internet? It was a rumor. It was a theory. It was a conspiracy. Now it is the biggest thing. And what's crazy is the people that I watched before I even started talked about this kind of stuff. The people on the internet, right? They talked about this stuff, and everybody thinks, oh, yeah, just some crazy kook on the internet. But yet, almost all the things that I watched over the last 12, 13 years, in fact, all the way back to 2001, when we're about 2003, when I used to watch stuff on what really happened on September of 2001. It's like, all the way back then, people were talking about these things to happen, that they were going to be monitoring us and listening to our every call. And we were like, what? What do you mean? Like, I don't even have something that they could listen to. And then slowly, cell phones and everything else was introduced. At first, we didn't even use our cell phones. We didn't care about Snake or whatever game came on them. Then they started getting us hooked more and more and more. Oh, better camera. Instead of a 1 megapixel camera, now we're looking at 100 megapixel cameras that can compete with DSLRs. And then now we are in this world where helicopters are flying themselves, and now direct energy is real. They have checkpoints. They're drilling like they're going to do some sort of Jade Helm type craziness. I mean, like, this is the world the internet said we would be in. You remember that whole thing like, oh, you heard it on the internet? It must be true. Maybe it is. The White House has added 5 new technology areas to its list of critical and emerging technologies, including hypersonic, directed energy, renewable energy generation and storage, and nuclear energy and financial technology. I bet, and financial technology, like I'm guessing that's like Bitcoin and crypto, Dex?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And then a list of critical and emerging technologies, or CETs, was released Tuesday by the National Security Council and the National Science and Technology Council's Fast Track Action Subcommittee on Critical and Emerging Technology. The update follows and closely reflects the key technologies included in the Pentagon's new Science and Technology Vision. It also comes days after top Pentagon leaders convened meeting with a defense industry executive to discuss the importance of moving quickly to field hypersonic technology. Think about this. What if there's no such thing as mutually assured destruction? Isn't that what was stopping us from wiping each other out. Dex, isn't it at the point right now where our enemies could hit us before we could hit them? I mean, technically.
Well, yeah, that's what they want us to believe in the media, right? That's what they want us to believe in what we're reading here. And, that's why I sort of go, wow, it's kind of crazy that NK has hypersonics and we don't, right? And so you're at a point now, if it's all true that, Russia, China, and NK could launch, missiles that could hit us faster than we can react, faster than we can do anything. So that would cause that imbalance. Now, I'm just crazy and too much of a hardcore American to believe that we don't have it, but apparently they keep saying we don't. And, we're the ones that are behind, right? And we need to catch up. And that's all we keep hearing from our military is, we need defense for hypersonic. We need to actually have hypersonics that work. We can't do it. We're behind. And that's what they want us to believe. Now, I'd love for it to come out that we actually have everything and, the balance is then yet restored, but it just does seem like we are out of balance right now.
Well, and we want, everybody has said for years and years, ever since I was a kid, like, oh, the government has stuff that's 30 years more advanced than we know about. I am really praying that we do. And who knows? We have to have some sort of Area 51 stuff, right? And they have to have some area, Keen Guan, whatever it's called. I don't know. But they must have some stuff as well. And then, of course, Russia must have their secret stuff. But are we going to see all of the secret stuff actually come out in public once this all goes down? Is it ever going to go down? I think that people have had the roller coaster go up so many times and then come back down that they just believe that it's always going to come back down, that relations with Russia and China are always going to do this. But if you see if you see the big picture of things were building years ago. Even 3 or 4 years ago when Theresa May was in office in UK, she put all of the money towards away from the T or is, right? She took it away from the Middle East and she put that money into Russia and China. And they actually said that their biggest enemy now was, of course, Russia and China. We saw these moves being made where all of the money started moving that way. Now, our entire focus is a conflict with them, and I don't see how they would do that without actually having something to show us on the news. Troops over here, troops over there. It's not a proxy anymore. This is the next step is where somebody wants to do a land grab. And again, there are crazier theories out there. And again, I might believe one of them, but that maybe they know something bigger is coming. They're telling us that, of course, the change of the Earth is going to basically make the Earth unlivable in a very short amount of time, and they're looking at ways to escape Earth. They're literally looking for Goldilocks planets and trying to terraform Mars and to go live on the moon and to have escape pods and how to destroy asteroids. Well, what if people are doing land grabs because maybe certain parts of the Earth, they might know that those parts of the Earth might do better or something? I don't know. But what I do know is that not everything is what it seems. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to ask a question of all the chat. If there's, I know there's 5,000 watching. Even if you don't pop in very often, pop in for this. Do you think that, and I will just have a 1 and 2. 1 is yes, 2 is no. 1 is yes, 2 is no. Do you think that there is something bigger behind everything that we know about publicly? 1 for yes, 2 for no. And I'm going to turn the chat on the screen so everybody watching the replay can see what those kind of results were. I'm sure if you're watching the replay, you are in that comment section right now telling me number 1 or 2 as well. Amy Schumach, thank you. I appreciate you subscribing just now. Global Witness, wow. I mean, it's almost like a cartoon. You can see the 1. This is like a flip book. The lamest flip book ever because it's just 1s. Yep, the world is definitely taking a number 1, that's for sure. Or wait, I think that's number 2.
you think Russia would be doing what they're doing or positioning themselves, and China positioning themselves, if they didn't have if they didn't think that they had technology better than ours? I mean, it certainly seems to embolden them.
No,
right?
or if they think if they have somebody paid at the highest position if they had an inside person, maybe that controls all of it. Maybe they spent billions of dollars turning, us into a third world venture here. Just like they've taken these smaller countries and put in systems in play and kind of tweaked who the who the main guy is. I don't know. But I do know U.S. reinforcement troops are to arrive in Romania, more expected. So notice how they haven't been putting out official numbers since the first 85 and 3,500. Now they're putting out 3,000. It says, and they say that they're sending more. United States troops relocating to Romania from Germany will reach the country on Wednesday night, Romania's defense ministry said, and will shield NATO's eastern flank from potential spillover from the Ukraine crisis. It says the U.S. is sending nearly 3,000 extra troops to Poland and Romania to bolster Eastern European defenses in Romania. It is relocating a Stryker squadron of U.S. service members from Vilsek, Germany. The ministry said that a part of the squadron, which will be named Task Force TF Cougar, will enter Romania at around 2000 GMT and drive across the country to the Mahal Calginicianu military base in the eastern country of Constanta. It says that the U.S. forces have used the Mihail Kolganchanaisianu. I swear this looks like Mr. Nice Keanu. Hold on. Koljanaiskianu Air Base on the Black Sea since 1999. Romania, a NATO member since 2004, also hosts ballistic missile defense system. The Stryker squadron, designed to deploy on short order, will add to the 900 soldiers the U.S. currently has rotating in Romania, some as part of the NATO force and some under separate bilateral arrangements. France has also offered to be the lead nation of a future NATO mission in Romania, which could see about 1,000 troops from various countries, and a decision could be made at the next NATO defense ministers meeting in mid-February. It says, quote, our contribution will look to augment anything that NATO does, and generally, we support NATO efforts to build up the battle group here. U.S. State Department Counselor Derek Chollet told reporters in Bucharest on Wednesday. And it says bolstering the eastern flank from north to south is the top of the NATO agenda. No question about it. One thing we have made very clear to the Russian side is if they continue this course of escalation and if they choose to take the military path regarding Ukraine, they're going to see more NATO capability on the eastern flank. Now, remember, they've had all sorts of peace talks, and I mean, we're talking about a dozen peace talks. Every one of them has gone absolutely nowhere. In fact, they have pulled back and said it's gone backwards. The French put headlines all over the world saying Macron and Putin. I saw the headline in France that said, Macron, our last chance at peace. Macron went there. Everybody was saying, oh, well, they say that there's this open diplomatic path and they're going to de-escalate. Turns out that, according to Russia, they said that it was blah, 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 and he was an idiot. Dex, they actually, didn't they kind of like make it sound like what Macron was suggesting was just kind of absurd, or?
Yeah, I think they set him up. I mean, like literally they waited, like gave it a day or two so the cycle could spin up and he could make something from it. And then boom, they came out and just cut the legs out from under his chair there. Right. He literally, said nothing happened and nothing that he said was accurate or right. Nothing that Macron said. So.
Well, imagine, and okay. So, and speaking of how we've seen this happen for years, it's like they just in the middle of CV, which I don't know what what if all of everything was because they were preparing or getting ready for something, right? They wanted to see if they could get everybody, I don't know. There's just some weird thoughts I have. But anyways, it's like during CV, they said they wanted to add women to the draft. Nobody was talking about a draft. It's like, did they know this was coming? Did they know that? Here's the thing. It's like when in the 40s, when all of a sudden everybody was being shipped out. Do you think that, people thought like that joined the military? Do you think that they thought they were going to go to the biggest conflict of the world? Probably not. And think about who is in the military now. And do you think, when they're telling us we think we're going to conflict, it's like they know more than we do. Even if they're on the low end, they're being shipped from place to place and they hear things. We have over 500 active and retired military, and now it's probably closer to 1,000 in this channel, and people that watch even on base. And without giving up too much, I mean, we've heard from on base, lower and higher ranking officials. I mean, some of them were actually surprisingly higher up, and they said, they can't say for sure, but they feel like we are about to go to conflict with Russia and China. Even if it was all a show and they're all high-fiving behind the scenes, I don't think that people are going to know until it's like the second of. This is something that's been led up to for a very long time. It's been planned for decades. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say it's been planned. It's been building for decades, and quite possibly this has been planned for decades. By the way, I did miss somebody said the friend from Germany. Here, hold on. Stephen McMahon says, Mr. Hayabusa 1299, you are a baby. I am 71. Stephen McMahon, you are 71 years old. That is awesome. Thank you for being here too. And again, I would have never guessed. You comment like a 68-year-old. Yeah. God bless all in this house. Thank you as well. And then thanks for all you do for the family. God bless. Happy Girl. Hey, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the massive support. Thank you for supporting Independent. Can't help but believe that we are being lied to, like always. If China had the ability to destroy us, it would have been done yesterday. Stephen Mann, I don't think so, because obviously they like their money as well. And they actually I think they like certain things about America. I don't know. At Adam, have you seen this article, Navy release timeline for mysterious 2019 UAS swarm involving warships off of California? Dex, can we look up, it says Navy releases timeline for mysterious 2019 UAS. I know we covered that swarm involving warships off of California, but is there a timeline that would help with that? Luis Martinez commented that.
Yeah, it looks like it just came out 2 hours ago. Let me grab it.
Wow. Okay, let's add that to the show. Again, if you have an article that's just coming out, breaking news, put it in the chat. We can grab that and add it to the website live. Remember that high-ranking Dong who defected a year ago? It says, and what about this rocket scientist who recently defected? I'll tell you this. I remember when 90 plus half of China's nuclear scientists all resigned on the same day. Like they were washing their hands or saying like, I would rather be have a target on my back for the rest of my life, blackballed from any kind of other job, because a nuclear scientist that's working directly for research and development for the Chinese government, once you quit that kind of job, you are marked for the rest of your life. You are doing a disservice to China. You cannot be replaced. You can't just go and grab a rocket scientist from the corner. This is just about a year ago, or a year and a half ago, and I knew something was up. The rest of the world, India news, Pakistan news, European news, Australian news, all said that this was bone-chilling, that half of their nuclear scientists quit. And the reason why is because it looked like they had a problem with what China was planning. Think about that. Half of them said, I'd rather be a target for the rest of my life than participate in whatever they were talking about. So that creeps me out. And then, of course, seeing that, Big Times Goat says, I have a friend in Germany saying that the U.S. tanks on trains 4 miles long rolling by with NATO forces, says that the conflict starts tomorrow. Germany source. Paul, thank you for your support. Pam Ben, please keep us updated. Love what you do in news. Big Times Goat, I take that with a grain of salt, but I would not be surprised. Again, I believe you may be right. I mean, like, anything, any day now is what they're saying, and they're setting up. And then look, the 10th, 11th, I would think that it would be on the 14th at least, just because of their placing all of this stuff. But I do believe that there's most likely trains of our tanks all over the world right now. And I don't believe they're going to tell us until the last second. They're not going to want us to panic. They're going to tell us last minute. And notice how the majority of people, they're not pushing this on every radio. Think about it. The big stories they'll push on, you'll turn on your car and they'll talk about it. Yeah, you can tune into NPR. You can tune in to news broadcast and hear about Russia, Ukraine, but you do not hear about WW3 just in your radio everywhere you go, turning on a music station and hearing little updates on this, which this is big enough to do that. I want to say a humongous thank you to Company 328. Thank you so much for the massive support over on DLive. Life is better on stilts. Says, we are family. I've got all my Fooglers and me. Thank you, One Brad A. And again, thank you, Lisa K23. Thank you for the massive support you've given over the last year. I appreciate you. Thank you for just being at the shows every day. Angela 1609, Tree Hookers, and Greifley. Thank you, Bear Lover 92,000, and Beer Juice. Thank you for being here. Scooby-Doo Right, thanks for gifting out Mafia badges. Dex, do you want to talk about the U.S. fighter jets in Poland?
Absolutely. So, and Adam, that article's up next if you want it. I was just trying to read through it, see what we could get from it. But the U.S. has basically moved yet another piece of strategic equipment. In this case, it's fighter jets, right? And they have now landed in Poland, and they are there as part of, backing up NATO and backing up all of the activity that's happening in Europe. So we've actually, put in F-15s that have actually landed there. So it's a significant, sign, I guess, towards the mission or towards the defense or support of NATO and what we're saying we're doing to help them. Obviously, this isn't necessarily meant to go into the Ukraine, as they keep telling us. So they keep saying everything we're doing is just going up to the border on the eastern edge of the NATO countries. So in this case, going into Poland. So yeah, this is a big deal. And matter of fact, we reported this and some other information on a short vid over on our news channel, our sister channel, our other channel, main channel, Marfoogle News. So if you haven't seen that, do us a favor and go grab it and share it, because it is one of those nice short shareable vids, but it does go into in depth on this and other activities that were happening today around the Ukraine situation.
Yeah, it's about 8 minutes long, and it gives you that and the fact that, in fact, what we're about to cover here in just a second, another story that is very suspicious and extremely alarming because, I mean, it actually kind of backs up what that commenter said about starting tomorrow or in the next couple of days. Seems like something's about to go down, and it's almost like it's on the U.S. side. Like, remember, some of the senators were even yelling, screaming that we should do nukes and do first strike. I mean, like, some of these people are absolutely insane. 5,500 watching. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. Amy Schumach, and then Pam Ben, thank you as well. Please keep us updated. Very, Very freaky stuff. JT Holt, 17 minutes ago. Thank you for subscribing. Renee Taylor, thank you for the support. Linda G says, thanks. My nephew works on the jets at Luke Air Force Base. Turns out it was an F-1 and not an F-35 that went down. Pilot safely ejected. Crash site wasn't at Sun City Grand Community, but near there. No injuries on the ground. Thank you, Linda G, and thank you for the inside scoop on that. Again, with all of that, I'm glad that it wasn't that it was that and wasn't that, and that nobody got hurt. Like some Donnie Darko thing. Just imagine a jet falling out of the sky, and then, yeah, that's pretty crazy. And then Kraka 4200100 or 420. Thanks for subscribing, JT Holt. Shiny Future, Hotspots of Heroes. Get it trending for boots on the ground. Cell outages soon for Canada. Oh, very spooky. Susan Donahue, hey! With many thanks and much love. While we're on the subject, again, I hope that most people already know about this. Our audience does. Make sure to go over and check out EMP Shield. You can protect yourself against an actual EMP. I won't go into the full thing because we are short on time. Here's the thing. If you want to protect your car from an actual EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, or a CME, go look at EMP Shield, marfooglenews.com/EMP. You'll get $50 off per device, and you'll be helping our channel. If you want to protect your home, your generator, your solar generator, your gas-powered generator, your boat, your RVs, your motorcycles, whatever it may be, they make a device for. Go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP. This, again, something that can be the difference between you driving home after an EMP or a CME Carrington level event and not driving home. It can be the difference between all of your devices in your home working after the EMPs stop or not working after the EMPs stop. So make sure to go check it out. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/EMP. All right, and then Susan Donahue, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Let's go right into the Pentagon won't let reporters embed with troops in Europe amid Russia conflict. Super sketch. This is one of the sketchiest things I've ever seen. I mean, Dex, why? I mean, and again, this is also on our news channel. You can share this out with friends and family. This should kind of get some bells ringing, and it's got a backed up source to it. It's not, the Express or the Sun or something that, sometimes goes fringe. This is accepted as fact. So this is White House talking here. They are not letting them embed.
Yeah, the Pentagon Press Association board, called us and they came out and said this is what they're doing, and even Kirby made the statement, "Hey, the buck stops with me. We're not doing it right now, and we're going to figure it out." But the first thing that came to my mind when I read this is that there's something that they don't want the world to know. Okay, and I say that because every single conflict that we've ever gone into, we've always had the press front and center. It's almost been like they've had a front row seat to see what it is we're doing and how awesome we are, or how great we did this or whatever. And the press has never been locked out on things like this for as far back as I can remember. So for them to literally lock them out and say, no, you're not riding along, you're not coming along, you have no seat at the table to see what's happening anywhere in this right now, certainly sends off a lot of red flags, and it sets off a lot of red flags for the press. I mean, they're sort of upset too, saying, "Hey, well, this is not normal. You normally give us the option to have some sort of, even if it's still, we have to redact locations, or we can only set up, film in certain areas, or we can't, give off certain information. That's all fine and dandy, but they still have the ability to do there and do some level of reporting to give some, level of transparency without putting anyone in harm's way."
Sons and daughters are over there, and essentially there's no reassurances of what is happening, what's going on. I have a feeling that there's a whole lot more troops. Again, I've told you why I think this. We know so many people that have their friends and family deployed right now. All of the ships left every port that we have, public port. All the webcams show everybody's gone. Everybody's out there. How are we not entirely deployed right now? I mean, It's pretty incredible, and they're kind of slow rolling these every day. They've been announcing a couple more troops leaving, 3,500 here, 3,500 there. We're at least up to about 15,000, which is a lot, but we're talking about our entire force may be involved, and some are saying that this may be because we are deploying a whole lot more than they know. They're not letting reporters in there. They're not letting reporters follow along, which also means that they may be planning a first strike. Maybe they don't. Maybe that's the whole thing. And again, I'm loose lips, sink ships and stuff. I don't know. In fact, China and Russia probably know a little bit more than we do, but what if? The way that John Kirby said it is that, hey, we're still trying to figure out how we can get kind of the news in here, but I don't think they can yet because they don't want people to see what's going on. We've never seen anything like this. We've never seen it where there's something this massive and they're not letting the press there. I'm going to turn the chat on again. Why do you think that they're not letting the press on? Put your reasoning right here. I want actual thought out answers. Put it on the screen. Why do you think that the press is not allowed? Press drones on board. Citizen journalism will rule. Navy extended their base along with the fast lane base has been extended. Country, it's called Wag the Dog. Fake. Something fake happens, right? Whitetail 7, you've got mail. F, a false. A Fantastic Freddy. Very well could be. Thank you for doing Freddy and Fantastic Freddy instead of the other thing. False, yeah, that. A double false, in fact. Believe. Boom. Off the script. So media cannot spin it? I don't know. I wish that. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so, though. No press. Oh, man, I got to see that one. Hold on. I want to go up to that one. How far back? Albert Pike's letter. Oh, wow. Yes, that's a whole nother bag. We've covered that, actually. If you look up his name on our search bar, you'll go back to the shows we covered that letter. Many shows, actually. It is a full-scale war, and they don't want to tip their hand. Well, I mean, Russia certainly has tipped theirs. They're shipping out everything. Scare event. The revolution will not be televised. Did you just creep me out, Richard? Some of you know why.
I heard Wolf Blitzer's still working on his fake set.
What was that?
Wolf Blitzer. Remember that from the
Wag the Dog?
The Gulf? Yeah. Yeah.
That was
the fake video, the fake set.
Yeah. Now it would be what's his face? What it would be? Oh my gosh! Just the other day, I saw Anderson Cooper. Is it Anderson Cooper? Yeah, Anderson Cooper. With Dr. Gupta. Oh my gosh, this little piece that they have tried to make viral and it shows up for everything. What just an absolute disgrace. Said that the lady who didn't want to get the thing, her reasoning for didn't make any sense. If you've seen that clip, you know why. Need the press here in to cover the Red Dawn. It could be a first strike thing. Do you guys get it, what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I love all of the reasoning here. Not a real conflict, faked as an excuse to blame on collapsing economies. Well, guess who's going to do well? There's going to be a few people that are so far up there. We have created so many billionaires through this last 2 years. It's absolutely insane. It goes all the way up to the top, far beyond what we see in the public. So lots of good reasons there. Those were all on the screen so everybody can see them at home. Some pretty good ones there. You can always pause, too, if they went by too fast. And then President B on the Ukraine situation. Now, this, I think, should be another kind of telltale sign something's up. And who knows, maybe he slipped and said this, but he says things could go crazy quick. And he told everyone to get out of Ukraine. It says American citizens should leave now. President B said in an upcoming interview that was taped Thursday with NBC Lester Holt. NBC News Lester Holt. That's right. President B said American citizens should leave now. So the comment earlier that said that conflict starts tomorrow, that their friend in Germany is seeing American tanks rolling through with NATO forces, I don't know if he's wrong. I don't know if your friend, he or she, is wrong. Look at what is happening right now. Look at all the drills. Look at all the deployments. Look at the physical evidence over whatever you are seeing in the news. Look at the actual physical evidence of what is happening. This is why people need to wake up. This is why, and what's really crazy is they are quiet about this. They're sending it over to John Kirby. They're not having Jen Psaki, because a lot of people on both sides watch Psaki either to yell at her or to yell with her. But they're having John Kirby do a lot of it, and a lot of people don't watch his conferences. They won't embed any press for all of these troops leaving to go fight a potential WW3. This is crazy. What do you think about President B saying that American citizens should leave now, Dex?
Well, I think if you're there, you might want to consider hightailing it out. It sounds also like they're setting up, or they're planning to use some of the troops that are going into Poland to set up on the border to help the citizens that are trying to at least cross over the border, to give them, support and what they need as they're trying to seek shelter and seek a place to go. At least that's what they say their plan is. That hasn't been set up yet, but that's what they're working towards. But yeah, this, maybe they're trying to at least look a little better than they did with what happened over there in Afghan. So, because that was kind of a bad situation on getting people out. But I don't think we're going to see the likes of our, military necessarily going in and shipping people out right now. That doesn't seem like that's in the works. At least that's what they're saying. So the word to just get out on your own seems to be the only thing they're doing at the moment.
Yeah,
that's pretty strong.
Don't fix it until it's broken, Dex. That's the American way. Just wait until there's a sinkhole to fetch them out. Witch's Brew says, always watching. Thank you for everything. You do. Thank you, Witch's Brew. Luis Martinez. Article, Pito Navarro distances self from aide who set up Oval Office meeting on military seizing the machines. We actually have that. I believe we have that on our web-only content. And isn't it funny his last name's Navarro? That's like straight out of some Ozark cartel stuff, isn't it? My bad. I am so sorry. Pothead mistake. Won't happen again, LOL. Much love. All. Mystery School, what did you do? What is the fake? What is it? What is it if it's all front for the fake alien invasion? Just a thought to ponder on. Be safe, Adam, Dex, Mods, and Foogle fam. Love you all. I don't know. Who knows with everything that's going the way it is now. And then Alex Hawkins, when Moses asked God his name, Hebrew text says YHWH. These are aspiration noises. God's name in the breath we breathe. Inhale, exhale. YHWH. Makes sense. Hope Foogle fam is staying safe and kicking life's butt. Thanks for doing what you do, Marf, Dex, and Mods. Texas loves y'all. 5,000 plus live, dude, killing it. Brett Butler, I appreciate that. Again, it's really appreciated that you guys are all here. Cameron Cones, did you hear Putin threatened to use nukes if Ukraine joins NATO? Yes, we covered it yesterday. You won't have time to even blink your eye, is what he said. I believe he said it in Russian. USAF member just found you. Keep it up. John Taylor, thank you for your service, or unless you're just for the banking features there. And then there are way more troops, but if you are a USA Air Force, thank you so much for your service. There are way more troops than what they are telling us. They don't want the public to know how big the situation is, says Greg Davis. That is my opinion. That is my opinion. We have so many military messaging us, and it's kind of off the charts right now. I've been trying to get back to as many as I can, but if you can, go ahead, Dex.
Yeah, Adam, I was going to say a statistic that you folks may not know. There's 70,000 troops permanently stationed in Europe. So when we say we're sending 10,000 or 3,000, we already have 70,000 over there. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I mean that's already a massive force, and then we're sending more. So then we've got 80,000, 100,000. We've got a matching force. They don't have 100,000 on the Russian border anymore. It's much more than that. They had 100,000 before. I mean, I think that's how much they had before they started sending 250 train loads. Trains can be as long as they want them to be. So kind of insane. 1707 Scenic, thank you for subscribing 23 minutes ago. Diamond Lou, thank you 23 minutes ago for subscribing. Keith Fallon, thank you for subscribing. David Ornelas, thank you 14 minutes ago for subscribing. The Deuterino 7, thank you for subscribing. Thank you. CB, thank you for subscribing. Greg Davis, yes, there are way more troops than they're telling us. And Kenny Cams, what's up, fam? Alien invasion. Everyone has a theory here, and honestly, I don't think there's wrong answers. We all have our opinions. A non-gamer, thank you for subscribing. And then Whitney DM1, thank you for subscribing. Lots of new people. Make sure you understand, since we have, I think, over 100 new people just during the show, just make sure to respect the chat. We don't talk badly about any other creators, even if they're PewDiePie to somebody right beside us. Doesn't matter. We don't talk about that. And if you do, you'll be muted. Don't take offense to it. The mods just do it. And then once you come back, just pretend like nobody noticed, because trust me, with 5,000 people in the chat, nobody does notice. Don't take it personally. And then let's see. As even Dem states ease, President B begins rethinking the rules for this, right? So that's why I said we might have something change before this even happens. So something big is happening. Dex, we talked about this right before the show. What is ending, and what do you think is starting?
Well, I mean, it seems to me like this whole notion of what we've been going through for the last 2 years is coming to an end, or they're starting to position that it's coming to an end, or at least coming to an ease. I don't know if they'll ever give up all power, but that change is happening now, and it's probably in part that's happening while the drums of conflict are starting to beat heavily and sort of fill the vacuum that's created. And so we're shifting focus from one thing that was going to hurt people to now another thing that's going to hurt people, both of which are global, both of which are major were major issues for how we had and what we had to deal with, and what the effects are to each and every one of us, and how we have to deal with it. A lot of struggle there. And we also talked about what the truck drivers have been doing, right? And does that play a role here or not? I don't know. Some have speculated it could, but it also goes to the point, like if they do roll back a lot of this stuff, then maybe that doesn't have to happen. And maybe that we won't see such of the same things that happened in, say, Canada, right?
But if we do, it's not going to be good for finding things at the store, for anything. Canada is already having huge problems, and they're probably not even going to see it for another month, as far as all of those trucks that were driving goods are now in there. And, of course, a lot of people are right behind it. They're saying, hey, I'll go without toilet paper for a month if something gets done here. There's a lot of supporters behind it, sending money, financial help, everything else. And apparently that is coming here as well. So we'll see what happens with that. Otherwise, it's like this ends, war starts. There's always going to be a conflict. And I forget what the stat is Oh my gosh. It's an insane stat that the U.S. has been in conflict, at war, since the beginning of the United States, since we were formed. Dex, do you remember what it was? It was 92% or 95% of the time. And that means like we're always in a conflict of some sort. Oh man. I want to say it's in the 90+%.
Okay, I found a similar stat. It's not a percentage, but the U.S. has been at conflict 225 out of 243 years since 1776.
Okay, I mean that's 225 out of 243. 225 to 45 would be 20 years. 17 years out of 243 years.
It's 91%.
Yeah. We have been at conflict with other countries 91% of the time. And you think that there's not going to be another war? What other war is there? Now we're lining up for the big one. And then, who knows, after the big one, we'll reduce the population by a few, hopefully million. And then it cycles again. We'll have these little proxy wars for another 60 years. Who knows? If we're even here. But it looks like this is dropping and the other thing's not. All right.
And you also have to think about that Deagle report and whether or not that's about to come true, right?
Yeah, exactly. Luis Martinez said it perfectly, says every BS news and propaganda equals never let a crisis go to waste. Nancy. I like how you even spelled it. Thank you for helping, and thank you for being considerate. You guys are part of this. So when you comment like that and you are mindful of it, just remember this is your house too. When you're in the living room hanging out with us and partying, if you can party responsibly and not puke on the walls or pee in the corner, it really helps us out. Speaking of helping us out, if again, this is something that helps everybody out. If you have not already, make sure to go over and check out marfooglenews.com/prep. This is a partnership with Patriot Supply that essentially has the essentials of life. If you have the ability to afford to prep right now, or you've been meaning to do it, then this is a great route to do it. The reason why is this is, again, a large company that is able to actually supply through all of this, the supply and demand issues that everybody else has been having. My Patriot Supply was big enough to keep everything in stock. When you go to most companies, you'll go for a specific kind of food and they'll be out, sold out, sold out, sold out, sold out. My Patriot Supply has kept their stock right, and again, they have long and short-term survival food. They have buckets. They have MREs. They have pretty much everything you can think of. They have survival gear, cooking gear, tools, power, lighting, stoves, fuel, lighters, first aid, medical, survival books. They have everything, including Alexa Pure water purification systems. Again, they have air purification systems. They have everything. But the two things you really need are food and water, and they have both. As far as that purification system is amazing. Dex has one. I'm still waiting on mine. Again, I have not ordered one yet because I was actually mine broke. Basically, I had the competitor, and it did not do too well. So again, go over to marfooglenews.com/prep. Go check it out. One, you will get a discount on some of the things there, like a 3-month supply is $150 off right now. A 1-month supply is $50 off right now. They have not raised their prices like many of their competitors. They are able to keep their prices, or they have been for a long time now. But again, that discount is not always around. They did subtract it. They brought it back this month. So make sure to go over there while you can. Again, the best time to prep is yesterday. marfooglenews.com/prep. By the way, somebody says, and well, I'll just be honest with you, this is the ecosystem. This is how we support ourselves. Somebody said that, that they don't like the commercials, right? By the way, if you watch any 2-hour show, Dex, how many advertisements do they show on a regular show?
Eight minutes is typical on a 30-minute segment on TV and probably the equivalent on radio. So if you're watching free programming that's ad supported like that, in a 2-hour time period, you're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of like 32 minutes of advertisement.
And what do we have?
Measured in minutes, because it's just a few and they're very quick.
Yeah, we've had shows where it's 6 minutes for 2 hours. So we appreciate that nobody likes them. Or that most people don't like them. For those that do order and that do support us, again, a very small percentage of you do order. That helps us support ourselves. We don't do this for free. We can't do it for free. We have families. I have 4 children. Dex has children. We have a family. So, we wouldn't tell you to work. We're not socialists. We're not communists. We wouldn't, say, hey, what are you doing getting paid at work? Are you working? Are you working for money? What are you doing? So whenever I see somebody saying, oh, you just want money. Well, technically we do need it because we have to survive like everybody else. And we don't get paid what people think because the big man takes a huge chunk of half of everything. In fact, when, say like YouTube takes 50% of all ad revenue, which we barely get ads, then if it's super chats, they take 30% of that, and then of course taxes. So again, you see one thing, we receive another. So we appreciate those of you that go over to like PayPal and things. Again, things like that does help. When you order things like this, that's totally separate. It helps us. So we've always been honest since the day we started doing affiliate marketing. I started doing affiliates when I knew I was bringing on Dex. I couldn't have an employee without having this. So thank you, everybody that understands that and that understands that it does take time out of the show. And when we say thank you for donations, that's part of it too, because unfortunately we have to, I would never not say thank you for somebody helping support my family. That's just the honest truth. LL Luna 3377, J-Star Oregon, thank you for supporting us. Gas Electric says, how's that? Thank you. Lisa K23, again, thank you so much. Hopkinson, everybody, I say thank you for the people that donate a 10-cent piece, a 1-cent piece. The Lemons, Angela 1609, JMB53, thank you. Lucas Steels, everybody, thank you. And then I do have a very special thank you. Just wanted to make sure that I said thank you to Mark and Laura. Said, praying you are feeling well and bless you and your family. Aloha, Mark and Laura. Aloha to you as well. Thank you so much, and God bless you for supporting our show through PayPal. Cheryl W., Travis S., Brenda L., and Amanda B. over the last week. Thank you guys. Wendy C. and Natasha French. Thanks for popping up last night. It says thanks for all you do. I appreciate that. Dex, let's go through a little bit of this craziness here. We have quite a bit of it.
Yeah, we certainly do. So head over to marfooglenews.com and click on the thumbnail for today's show and scroll down to that web-only content, and you'll get the rest of the story. Lots of crazy things going on there. You can find out what they are telling us now happened to Bob Saget. Apparently, there was a blow to the head. I think they think that he must have did it himself, then went to sleep, and then unfortunately perished. But a lot of people are up in arms over whether or not that's the truth. But go find out the details. There's a new name potentially coming for the current administration's plan that didn't make it through the House or through the Senate. A lot of other things going on. This is sort of like the too hot for TV or too far to one side or very opinionated content. So go take a look. And even Disney is back in the news with some songs that are creating controversy. So if you haven't seen it all and you're on YouTube, just open the description and look for show notes. It's the first link. It's right there. And just click it and it'll take you directly to this page, and you can scroll down to web-only content. Otherwise, go to marfooglenews.com.
Yeah, so I can't wait until I can hear this new Disney song called Microaggressions. Racial microaggressions. aimed at toddlers. We're in a different world, folks. What is it? What is it? What is that Disney song? The Whole World? What is it? It's a whole new world. Is that what it is, Dex?
Yeah, Whole New World. That's definitely a Disney song.
No.
I don't remember what movie.
No, what's the ride?
Oh, It's a Small World.
It's a small world after all, filled with microaggressions. It's a microaggressions world after all, and now we're gonna have creepy, creepy dolls. Have a good night, guys. Be safe. Be prepared. Thank you, everybody that joined. Thank you for all the new subscribers. God bless everybody that joined us tonight. If you saw a new person join in and you see them pop into chat that you've never seen before, say hello. Ask how their day is. That's how this family keeps growing. So thank you, everybody. Nika Talaka, thank you so much. Dog Whisperer, thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your support. You didn't even write a message there. Thank you so much. David Round, John Miller, Tammy Brown, Ososa Soa, thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing. Welcome. And then again, if you're at home and you're watching the replay, hit the subscribe button. It's free. It might cost you 8 minutes of your life every 2 hours of advertisements, but it will help us. Thank you. Make sure to share this with friends and family. You guys are the army out there, so make sure to go out and share it. Patrick Oliver, thank you. Best chat and channel I have been in. Thanks. Hey, that really means a lot. The mods need to be thanked. That chat is their responsibility, and it is also their it's their work that really makes that chat down there amazing. So say thank you to your mods. It is now time for a shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout out. It's a shoutro. Dex, how much time do we have left? 5 minutes?
Yeah, we're doing good. We got time. It'll be 5 minutes till we flip over.
Okay, thank you. I put echo on that, so you sounded really cool. All right, have a good night. Be safe. Be prepared. Marf out. Marfoogle Jam. Subscribe. We're going to have some very controversial things going over there very soon. So make sure to subscribe over to Marfoogle Jams, where the show never stops. Well, it never stops, but then it does stop in a few minutes after it. It does never stop after it does stop. Mark and Laura, aloha. Let's make a song for Mark and Laura from Aloha. You get what I'm saying.